Good day, and welcome to FMA Discussion. This is episode 519, and tonight we'll be talking about social media, more so specifically in regards to your student base if you're running an organization. Do you have protocol, and is it necessary? If you're watching, tune in, let us know, chime in, and smash that like button. Without further ado, will be joining me tonight in this topic will be Datu Tim, and here we go. Hey there.
Hey, how we doing?
So we are officially live. I don't know why I didn't pick up before, but we're good to go. So interesting topic tonight.
Hey, how we doing?
Uh, um, but yeah, so in lieu of recent events, one of the things that kind of stuck out was kind of disappointment in that what I was seeing in regards to the obviously the assassination, and just Venom. I mean, just like, this guy was a father. Okay, maybe if you didn't agree with what he said and etc. But I mean, shot in public, as everybody knows, and nobody should be murdered for exercising their First Amendment. And it's just terrible. Just like, and so what struck me is not just some of the folks doing this, some students, some head of systems. But really, what struck me more importantly was, in one particular, I'm not going to name the organization, but a couple of students, it was just vile. If you're the head of the organization and you're seeing your students, like, do you say anything? And this comes in the value system. Like my value system is my students, I don't allow them to conduct themselves like that. However, I'm not saying I'm right. I'm saying what works for my value system, you know, um, in that, but just vile venom, so what's your, well, first, I mean, your insight to this, like what you felt about it.
I was sent the link of the shooting, which I felt very, was very disturbing.
Mm-hmm.
And so, first of all, Charlie Kirk comes up on my feeds, but I only get certain posts. So the post that I was beginning to resonate with him on the comments about transgenders competing with, boys and girls competing with each other, minors sharing bathrooms. I had issues with that, and that's my opinion, and no one has to agree with me. I have people, students of color, and I pulled them aside because there's been stuff that was said online. I go, can you explain this to me? And the first thing they said is, I'm not a fan of Charlie Kirk, but no one should be killed for speaking their mind.
Yeah.
In a civilized society, no one should fear for their life because they're exercising their First Amendment right. So that's the issue here. I'm not siding with Charlie Kirk saying he's a wonderful man. I mean, the whole point was, the stuff that I saw on my feeds relate to what I look at.
Mm-hmm.
So if he was making racial comments here and there, and people was telling me stuff, okay, and when I actually, this thing was disturbing me, and then I saw a leader put out some venom.
Yeah.
And here's the thing: as the head of, as an instructor for my students, just the local ones, I don't use my classes as a platform to promote my religion
Mm.
or my political views. And the only religious thing we talk about is the sports religion. Go Bills, So, but there's some of the people or some of the kids in the school, they like Casey or something like that. I go, oh, you buggerhead! All right, no problem. That's cool. If you like them, that's good. Once again, we can agree to disagree.
Yeah.
We will have theoretical conversations, theological conversations, political conversations off the mats, and it's usually because we're talking amongst each other and like, hey, I heard this. What's your take on it? And what's your take on it? Done. And everyone's got a, everyone's got a different viewpoint,
Mm-hmm.
and we respect that. Now, I there are people who I have in the past I have loathed in the past, and I'm to the point right now where I'm a better person, and I still wouldn't want to see these people hurt.
Right.
There's some people I want to punch in the head myself. Don't get me wrong, but I don't want to see harm come to them
Sure.
because someone in their life, let's say, you know, someone in their life is going to mourn their loss. Simple as that.
Yeah, and that's where it really struck me is
Yeah.
like, you know, again, exercising, their First Amendment right, but again, I know the person you're speaking as far as one of the head of organizations. There are a couple students I saw of another organization, and one of the statements was made was just flat out like, I have zero empathy, and it's like, okay, so you have zero empathy for his family, his kids. I mean, like, and just vile, and these people I'm mentioning were just going on and on for days on this, and
If you don't have something nice to say, maybe you shouldn't say anything. And
yeah, and I'm just
that's the
looking at
whole point.
if you're running this, if you're running the organization, and these are your students. I mean, like, I
Well,
mean, how
let
does that
me
not reflect poorly on you, or
let
do you
me give
not
you
care?
another example. So, okay, I mean, we're going to use Charlie Kirk as the example. We're not getting on the bandwagon with
No,
him.
no, no.
That's not
He's
what
just
the conversation's
most
about.
recent event. That's all that
Okay,
is. Most
that's
recent
it.
event. Yeah,
Okay, we can talk about Abraham Lincoln being assassinated. We
yeah,
can talk about Jimmy Hoffa. We can talk about MLK. We can talk about uh, Malcolm X. We can talk about anybody, JFK, anybody who was silenced
yeah.
for what they were doing or saying. Okay,
Right,
um, and I'm not comparing. They're all in the same boat, but they're not all the same person.
right.
They're all
And
in
again,
different
the
leagues.
most recent, right?
Right. That's it. So um, I the comment was made that Charlie Kirk allegedly called George Floyd a scumbag. Okay. I'm not going to get involved whether he was a good person or not. I have my own personal opinions. But here's what I'm going to say. I'll tell you what my personal opinion is. Based on the information I heard, he wasn't a nice person. That's it. That's as far as I'm going to go. I also think he was he was killed by the police too. So, um, I'm not. I'm just. And all the police that I talked to, they feel that the verdict was correct when convicting the police. So I'm not comparing sides or whatever. But when George Floyd was killed, no matter what his background was, I didn't say a word about him. I didn't say a word about Charlie Kirk. If I thought they were both scum, I kept that to myself because that would hurt others.
Mm.
And what's you know, okay, so maybe you celebrate it internally. Yay, he's gone. Fine, internally. Why did you? And I think COVID is what really hurt us as a society because people have all
Yeah,
of a
I think it
sudden
made
got balls that they didn't have before because they can
social
hide
media.
behind a screen.
Yeah, just overall social media be conduct. I totally agree with that. What you can get away with because you're on
Yeah,
a computer, but
and if I talked to someone who's a man of the whose wife's a woman of the cloth, and they're black students of mine. I wanted their perspective, and I trust their opinion. Like, no, there's a lot of stuff, but they understood where my social media feeds didn't feed me the information that they were
mm,
talking about, and I'd only been seeing Charlie Kirk regularly for like the last month or two, so it wasn't this long history of following him. It just kept popping up in my feeds. I'm like, oh, I like that post, like it. Okay. If I didn't like it, I didn't give it a thumbs up,
yeah,
but I never thought much about it. Just like, oh, I like the way he articulated this.
yeah,
This is good. And I've been listening to a lot more people who speak publicly because sometimes I want to express myself in a way and I don't have the words. And these guys and these people, they have the words. And I like listening to them, the arguments. And I love a good argument. I love a good point counterpoint. Um, but at the end of the day, what does it say for the quality of a person if you are publicly celebrating someone's death, that it was not like Adolf Hitler, it was not Attila the Hun, it was not Saddam Hussein. It's not a mass murder that someone finally got a hold of. It's just a person that spoke his mind.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other, and what does that say for society when we celebrate things like this? Because I'm not vested in this, but I feel bad for his wife and his kids and any
No,
other
one hundred
family
percent, and
member he
that's
might have,
what makes it like appalling to me. And first
or
of all, on
friends.
social media,
Like,
what gives anybody right, like, where you're just posting your political lens? I mean, it's gotten so just out of control. The weaponization of social media in some regards, and um,
well, I mean, right?
where it's become a lot of it's distasteful, and especially in the incident that we're talking about. But again, the bigger, in other words, if your students are doing that and you don't have protocols in place, like I don't see how that, like, how does that not gonna be a bad reflection on you? Like if you know they're associated with you, I mean, how are you not taking that consideration unless you just don't go on your student's wall and you don't say anything? But come on, when something that violent, which this was, there's no way telling me somebody didn't reach out to you. I mean, come on, you know?
Yeah. Now, personally, I think my local students, if I saw something, I'd probably have a dialogue and ask why they did what they did and stuff of that nature. Because we have to watch what we post social media wise. There's people out there who lost.
Jobs.
Well, I mean, I mean, and not because of this, but just because social media posts or
Or
people
that,
who
but
lost.
both. There are people that lost jobs of what they posted about.
Well, no, I know that. I don't know,
Yeah,
but I don't even want to talk about this. I want to talk a bigger picture. I remember people losing college sponsorship opportunities based on things that they had posted up on their Facebook pages, and it has nothing to do with this. This is talking years of this. People, I'm gonna. What do people do when they want to get the measure of a person? If you've got social media, if they're smart, they're gonna go check out your social media.
absolutely.
So if they see that you're partying and drinking all weekend long, and smoking up, which, by the way, all of this is legal, but it might not fit the image that they want for their company. And that's their right. And you can hire whom you want. There's nothing. No one says I have to hire everybody. My company, my rules. These are the protocols. As long as they're established.
Mm.
Um, I was just talking about sponsorship inside of WeCAF, and I was talking to Gerald Kenyette, and one of the things like, well, like, listen, you definitely want to talk about the board when we're to the board about things. And like, let's say Playboy is going to offer us $1 million for sponsorship. It might not be one we want. I'm like, okay, if they're offering us $1 million, we're taking it.
Yeah,
We'll deal with that. But I mean, but the thing here is, but if someone wants to offer $2,000-3,000, a cannabis dispensary or something like that, is that something you want to deal with?
yeah,
Right.
yeah. I mean,
So it's not just this happened. This happened. This is maybe the straw that broke the camel's back, that we have this dialogue, because things have been getting worse and worse as they've been going.
no. And the thing is, too, is though I think like on a few of the folks I saw that I'm mentioning, like my lens has changed on the leaders. Like I just got to be honest. Like I don't look at them the same because I'm like, you let your students like basically just tee off that they were essentially glad in some shape, way, or form that this guy, a couple of, well, if you live by a sword, you die by a sword. I mean, come on. I mean, this guy wasn't in warfare. He was
Yeah, someone
exercising
someone
his,
made that comment on my. So I put up a nice
yeah,
post.
exercising your First Amendment right. You know what I mean? Like, I
There's
mean,
no
totally
sword to
taking,
fall on in that. That you
yeah,
shouldn't say.
no, taking that cliche totally out of context and totally inappropriate. to even mention that in this regard. I mean, and so I've lost, like, I'm telling you, like, respect just for some of these people that obviously don't have anything in place for their student base, or they do, and the students just don't listen. But I'm guessing they just don't have anything in place. And so when I look at these leaders, because I went on their pages, like the two people I'm referencing, I went to the group leaders page and see if he posted anything. Then I went to see if he even looked or liked. Of course, he didn't. But it's still, though, there's nobody telling me. Nobody's brought that to your attention. I mean, come on, you know.
Well, I mean, we talked about the one person that we both know, or the person I talked to you about that,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
hey, this person, I hope he burns in hell and blah, blah, blah. And I'm
Like
like,
that. That's such venom.
once again, what did he do? Now, listen, someone physically does something to me or my family.
Yeah, but totally
Fine.
different.
Okay, we're game on. Bad
Yeah.
things are going to happen to somebody.
No, but we're talking about the first exercising freedom of speech. Yeah.
Word.
Yes.
Now, I will say in this particular case, the person I talked to said that they have trans friends, which I have trans friends. One of my best friends is now um, Tanya. I'm going to use a different name. Was Tony and now Tanya. Um, we were skate rats together. I've known him forever. He'll always be Tony in my head because for 40 years of my life I've known him that way, and for a few years I've known him as Tanya. And when we're together and visiting, it's Tanya. Hey, how you doing? Big hug. What's going on? Because we were through so much. We've experienced so much things together as friends. I would never turn my back on my friend.
Right.
But we have different opinions. So, but now, what went on in this? When I was talking about this person in my school, they told me that unfortunately, some people who have followed Charlie Kirk had jumped and beat friends of theirs that were trans. Now, is it direct followers of him that went out and went at
And
people?
where's the absolute proof?
Well, and but let's say they're the people that listen to him.
Yeah.
Are they his people or are they listening? But the same thing can happen with anyone who talks.
Yeah.
Anybody can go out and doing
I
something.
mean, it was happening before him. I mean,
right.
It'll happen after him.
Yeah, but it also happens with blacks jumping whites, whites jumping blacks, both of them jumping Mexicans, I mean, these things happen all the time. So, is this specifically for that? But you know what? I listened to the conversation. They listened to me. We asked, and you know what? There's a very good chance that some of the stuff that may have been said may have influenced these people in their mindset. But I don't believe that anything that he said was meant to start that.
No,
and the thing here is, it doesn't matter what. I mean,
Yeah, I don't think so either. I mean, from what I listened to and all that, I mean,
I don't listen, and I don't listen to all of Charlie Kirk's thing.
Nor have I.
A small portion, and it's what the analytics feed me, which means
they're shorts, and so they don't give you the prefix question. They don't give you the whole totality of everything. I'm not. Everything.
Well, we look at okay, so everyone talking about, well, Tim, aren't you worried about what you say? You're a social influencer. I go, first of all, I'm a martial arts instructor first and foremost, who became a social influencer. My stuff is tongue in cheek. I make comments about BJJ and guys cuddling with each other because it's funny. I also practice Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and the trolls just can't get it. And I bump in. I went to an MMA event and took photos with a bunch of BJJ guys who knew exactly who I was, and they got it. Fact of the matter here is, all these people are talking about storming my dojo. How is it any different than this? You don't like what I say. I got a simple thing. You don't like what Charlie Kirk says. You don't like what Team Franco said. You don't like what Tim Hartman said. You know what you do? Turn a goddamn channel. Don't listen.
Don't listen to
unlike block. I mean, and the thing here is, let's flip it around. You celebrate that Charlie Kirk was killed. and then I don't like it, so I unalive you because I don't like what you're saying. I mean, really, in all essence, that what's the next step? When does this end?
I think it ends. I mean, far as if we're dialing into social media and head of systems like the topic, I think it starts and ends with you have protocol in place. Like in other words, like under Blade Tech and WPM, it is very known where I stand, my value system. It is known that you will not be conducting yourself like that. It's known. It's not, and it's a mirror image of what I create in FMA discussion. The micronism is Blade Tech WPM, but people understand like what my value system and how you're supposed to conduct yourself out there. And I've had to message people, and I don't do it in front of everybody. I do it privately. And I said, look, you can't be doing that. And I explain why. And it usually goes very well. But back to the prefix, I have protocols in place. I don't think a lot of these folks with their student base don't even have that, in place.
Well, here's the thing. I don't have a protocol in place. Other than this, I set the proper example.
Well,
People,
that too. But I mean, I think both. I mean, yes, you have to live it. You got to
yeah,
model what
and
you're
that's it. You
preaching.
you you can say a name, okay. Well, okay. If Putin was to be taken out tomorrow, I wouldn't be celebrating about it. I might be internally going, "Thank God, it's going to save the world, all this people
About
and
the
suffering,
potential
all
World
this
War
other stuff."
III.
But you know what? I'm not going to celebrate a victory
Yeah,
because someone's got to love him somewhere. Some friends, some
yeah,
family,
yeah.
someone. I don't.
Someone's
Oh,
somewhere.
I know. But hey, and people say the same thing about Trump. Okay, think about this. He was running for president, and there was an attempted assassination attempt on him. Okay,
Twice.
what about his family? You know, what about there's he's got friends. I happened to throw on Fox on the way. I got out of the club early tonight, and I drove home, and I put on Fox News just to listen to what they were saying. And one of the reporters, he was going off, going off, going off. I'm like, okay, it's a little over the top. And then he goes, I lost my friend. Okay, boom. It put everything in perspective.
Yeah.
He found
Yeah,
at
yeah,
the
yeah,
end, like,
yeah,
I
yeah.
lost my friend Charlie Kirk. Okay, now I know why you were so wound. I mean, there. I mean, I was when I saw this, I was wound up just for the fact that it happened.
Well, it
Listen,
happened, but then some of the
well, before I saw all the rhetoric, and then
yeah.
that just got me all pissed. But I mean, someone sent me a link. I clicked OK to look at the footage, because it was censored, and I knew right then and there with the shot it was over. And I was very upset because here's a guy speaking his mind, like any one of us could be, and someone ended his life because he was expressing himself, which could have happened to any one of
Exercising
us.
his First Amendment. I mean, pure and simple.
Any
His
one of
First
us
Amendment
could
right.
have been the same thing. I don't like what you're saying. Let me get a gun and shoot you.
That's what
That
I mean. Like, where's the end? And the thing is, like if you're a leader, again, like within the scope of social media and martial art organizations, I'm sorry, in these climatic times, I think you bear the responsibility of at least with your student bodies to have a free for all, because social media becoming such prevalent in the martial arts world, whether it be obviously advertisement, showing your materials, seminar postings, et cetera, like it's becoming a major tool for us. And I've lost, again, to reiterate, I lost respect for some of these guys and watching their students just venom. And like, where does it end? Like, when do you step in and say, hey, look, you represent me. You can't be doing that.
and some of these people are not okay. So we're talking about this. There's people I know that we talked about that don't represent us. They're people we know, and where's our mindset at? And to me, it's gonna be really hard for me to continue a relationship with someone if that's the way they feel because it's
To me, it's not even a question. It's not a relationship
and
anymore.
it's like
It's just
how like we the thing is I have never celebrated in anyone's death. I'll give you another example. I had a bipolar have, but I cut him out of my life. A bipolar stepfather, former military steelworker, who had a huge heart on for my dead dad, and used to talk smack all the time. And I got so much mental abuse for the stuff, not physical. He smacked me around a couple times, but the thing here is most of it was mental abuse. He'd be screaming and hollering at me at full volume. I was 10 years old. I was 12 from 10 to 18. I had to deal with that nonsense. Once I graduated high school, I moved out of the house. I heard recently from my stepsister that he has cancer. Like, well, how do you feel about it? Well, I talked to my brother, and if he wants to see us, we'll visit him, but we have no interest. Okay. How do you feel about it? I really have no interest to see him. Okay, that was it. I have all this thing to say that finally that guy's getting his and all this other stuff. I never said that. I wouldn't, because at the end of the day, that's my stepsister I'm talking to. That's her father, her
Yeah,
flesh
yeah.
and blood. Now, unfortunately, her and her brother and me all have similar issues with the guy, and we have a lot of reason for venom. But even then, we never said anything negative about that.
Yeah. I think, yeah, I think it's just code of conduct, if you will. You're out there, social media, people are watching you if you're a figure, and I think it can be really detrimental to your
Yeah,
business and all that,
yeah,
what you're posting out there. Again, I run a very tight ship in that regard. And why? I model after Burton and Tom Sodas, and it works. It's clean
yeah,
running machines. Nobody can say anything bad because you keep people in check
yeah.
of their conduct, and I've seen it work. It's evidenced. I've seen it, and I've seen the opposite. When people don't check their students and act like that, it can come back to haunt you. You know.
Well, I mean, listen, people see the stuff that comes my way from the martial arts stuff, and there's a standing order in our organization is don't deal with it. I'll engage. That's my job. Your job is to
Yeah,
do.
that's my. And I tell my that's my job. Yeah, I agree with that.
So there's been a whole bunch of stuff as of late, and people in modern Ernest, we've talked about a couple different things, and people are oblivious to the facts, and had a discussion about one thing, and then I made a post about something, and then everyone tried to take apart what I said to avoid the actual conversation. And one of the things that came up is, Brian Zawolinsky first Dan Anderson made the DAV has 1,500 members. And it's, I made a comment that we've got the largest non-government sponsored modern Ernest organization in the world. Remy Prace's modern Ernest organization in the world. And so Dan Anderson didn't like the post. So he goes, well, the DAV has 1,500 members. I go, and I wasn't even thinking about the DAV. I'm thinking about the Philippines more than anything else, but I wasn't thinking about the DAV. But and I don't consider Remy Prace's modern Ernest organization. It is the Deutschland Ernest organization that's built off of Combatant First, Jeet Kune Do, Anaya Agreement, and Modern Ernest. That's not a Remy Prace's Modern Ernest organization. That's a blend that's a very good martial system. They're very good at what they do, but that's not Remy Prace's Modern Ernest. Remy didn't do Anaya Eskrima. If they did the deep dive like I did into Balintawak to one of the roots, okay, that's fine. So Dan makes this comment. He's trying to take this all away. I'm like, that's fine, but we still. I wasn't talking about that, but we have more members. We have more than 1,500 members. Brian Zawolinsky doubles down and said, well, there's this rumor going around and all this other stuff, and we have more members. The DAV is the largest Remy Prace's modern race organization. Well, no, it's not, because it's not teaching Remy Prace's modern race. It's teaching a bunch of things. Furthermore, we have more members. I don't know. It's deaf ears. So bunch of the guys are thinking about making comments. Like, no, that's my job. I got this. Don't
Yeah,
sweat
that's
it.
the thing, because you can't because then it gets blown out, and now you got, and that's why I tell my folks in WPMA, I said, no, my job is to handle that. You just tell me, and I will
Yeah,
go
yeah.
and
If
directly,
you
yeah,
if you feel it merits a response, you'll take care of it.
exactly. If I feel like, hey, it's best guys, and I tell us that, folks, we're going to ignore until
Yeah.
I say something.
You know,
And
at the end
that's
of the
the rule
day,
of thumb in our organizations. We
I don't even care
ignore.
what I don't care what the Modern East Misfits say. You know, at the end of the day, you look at all the stuff that they do. You know, their posts and all this other stuff. And you look at that Modern East Roundtable, and you look at all their videos put together. All the views put together doesn't equal one of my videos that I put out on a daily basis. So, what do we care? I mean, there's other people out there doing stuff. I don't care. Why? Because no one's watching their shit. So we just do us. Once in a while, someone really gets the facts so wrong that I feel the need to correct them. And I correct them with facts. It's not about venom. It's not about doing anything. It's if they got it wrong, I wouldn't have to correct them. Simple as that. Get the facts straight.
Here's
And
what do you? Okay, and I'm hoping some of the folks in the audience will chime in, because I'm saying what I do, my value system, and what works for me, and what I've seen work in my student bodies, modeling FMA discussion. I'm not saying it's the best. I'm just saying what's worked for me. But what do you like? Yes, I think leading by example, absolutely. Your students see you lead by example, thus they're probably going to be less prone to do something because they see how you act. But in this case, the example I'm using, this guy barely posts, and he does it's very professional. His students, however, just went on, AWOL and just whatever. But do you feel head leadership, assuming they have a decent student body, they're social media prolific, they're a good chunk of their students are on social media, do you think they should have protocol and rules for social media?
okay.
Or at least discuss it?
Okay. So I do want to discuss what Basti put up there because it ties some things in here. Um, it all depends on what you're doing. It's hard. Okay, so I don't tell people what to do. The thing here is when it comes to the organization, I grant people access, and if they do things I don't like, I tell them to go. My day-to-day students, here's the one. Can you pull up Guru Basti's?
Yeah, but that's really just I don't. It's kind of like I don't know. That's kind of
I
okay.
agree with that. I mean, I tell my students this all the time. You pay for a service. You know.
I know, but we're going beyond that. We're going. The lens here is social media, not in person.
Right.
I mean,
Right. So, so if we're talking about but if it's the in-house students making comments and stuff of that nature, that they're,
yeah. I think that's suiting for that. But
you
I'm
know,
talking more
so
social media presence where you're not directly in front of the person, but yet you're establishing some code of conduct. So while they're afar, they should know, what to do and what to,
I don't necessarily believe that something needs to be written down per se, but I
It's
do
not the same
believe.
thing, Moste, because you didn't articulate it. It's the same thing in there. Social media is a very different dynamic, polarizing dynamic than an in-class small group of situation.
Uh, let's see here.
I tell
On social media.
someone that social media built in the same. Okay, well that's more specific.
Well, it is a little different when you have day-to-day students versus.
Hmm.
I
I know,
so
but
when
we're
it
getting
comes
away from the question though.
to,
Like, do you
oh,
do,
well,
do you?
I don't have written protocols to address
I know,
this,
but do you bring up
but
to your heads?
but we talk about what our presence is online.
Okay, and how
And
you don't want that compromise.
right. And if someone's going to go off, it's going to be me.
Yeah.
And we want to make sure that we're setting proper examples as a whole, You know, basically tell people, and for the most part, and that's dealing with other martial art organizations. We haven't addressed this particular thing, but then again, I don't I don't think any of my students would celebrate in somebody's death.
Yeah, I think that. I mean,
Whether
knowing, I don't know all your students, but knowing the higher tier of your students, I do not see any of them celebrate. Yeah.
right, so I can't say that my people would I would have to worry about this in the first place. I mean, because it's not the people I attract. It's not the people. I mean, it's just there's a bunch of things going on there.
I
So
know,
like,
but like again, using an example, I wish I could just, but I can't. I haven't talked to the person. It's just to be unethical to me. But this person is very quiet. Conducts himself like really well. I have to say,
okay,
from what I know of him,
did
his
they post
students,
something?
huh?
Did did he post something or a student posted?
No, because matter of fact, that's a good point. Because I went on his wall to see if they were mirroring him, and he didn't. These two, they just went on their own accord and just again. So because I did look for that because I wanted to see if they were kind of piggyback off maybe him. No, they just on their own, and so sometimes I don't think it matters. Like yes, I think obviously if there's a modeling effect of how you conduct yourself, I think that definitely will folks will do generally speaking the same thing. That's work. I can attest to that. How I carry myself, my organizations, but I don't know if that's the all one solution. I think it merits having that conversation. And again, pending how big your organization is. But I think once you're in the social media land, both you and students, whether from advertising and all that, then I think it's a conversation worth having, to just eliminate, like we're not going to fire.
Yeah, I mean, listen. Okay, so we're talking about leaders of an organization. We're not talking about a school, which is
I'm
a
talking about 100% just social media. No, I
no,
mean,
no,
like,
no, 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 no. But no, when you're talking about a leader of an organization,
yeah, you lead an
we're
organization, so
not
you're
talking
on
about
social
just the
media,
regular school owner. So,
right?
like during COVID, we also had BLM, and um, people spoke out about BLM in the schools.
Mm-hmm.
Not my school, but I was talking to somebody who's one of his students were saying stuff, and he was demanding that the school get involved with this. And it's like, well, one, no. Now it wasn't my school, and I actually had someone want me to reach out. So during BLM, during COVID and BLM,
Well, we're ready then. I'm sure I'll be back. It was a glitch, folks. If you're watching, please don't hesitate to share your opinion. Again, I just have found through experience, if you model and you at least have some form of written rules, like for instance, in Western Piper methods, when new students come into the Piper group, please read what's featured, what's highlighted, pinned, read those rules. So they can't say, "Oh, I didn't know. I didn't know you guys had rules for social media." And I think it's better to have something in place than not to have something in place. I just think but I also think it also coincides how you, the leader, conduct yourself. If you're out there just doing whatever, well, it's going to be hard for them to model, in there. But I think the two, I think, should go hand in hand. And he is back. And he was back. And he's not. Um, Bacon last mail. When I come up there, Renee, that would be great. Let's just see if this works. All right, you're back.
I don't know what's going on.
I don't know, yeah, but I thought it
Um,
was
yeah, no. So, you know, so I was asked to make a comment during BLM, and so eventually I did, and my comment was very simple. I don't judge a person by the color of their skin, by the gods they worship, the politicians they follow, the people they love, or the uniforms that they wear. I judge a person based on who they are
Yeah, character,
and their
right?
deeds.
Yeah.
And,
Okay.
unfortunately, when the person asked me to say, they said, well, you're a head of an organization. And I had a follow up. I'm like, and I told the person, how dare you do that publicly to me? My dad was a cop. I work with police. And just because you had bad experience, that's not all the police out there.
Yeah.
It's a minority. Just like when we say, well, we can say any demographic's bad. No, the minority of those demographics are bad.
Yeah.
Most cops are good. Some cops are plain old bad. Some get salty because of the job. I don't, there's Republicans I love. There's Republicans I hate. There's Democrats I love. There's Democrats I hate. There's people of all different types of things. Hey, I judge it by the person.
Yeah.
Now, my protocols are more spoken than they are written.
But again, at least I only have it written because I have a private group. But at
Right.
least you're doing it. But at least you, in some shape
And
or
there's a difference
form.
between me and you because this is my profession.
Yeah.
So which is another reason why I'm very guarded about what I say publicly. I mean, okay, we've just talked about this as an example. People have lost scholarships because of people looking at their Facebook pages.
Mm.
People have lost jobs because of the same
Just
thing,
very recently have lost
and
it.
and even before what's going on now, even
Yeah.
before that.
Yeah.
So,
That's what I mean. Like social media is a big. I mean, like people are checking
yeah,
your walls, whether you're applying or whether they're checking you out maybe to study with you or check out the organization. I mean, people do their due diligence. I'm not saying everybody, but there's some that really do that. And so, again, back to the leaders and all that. I mean, like if you want, or if you're trying to grow your organization, or you're trying to perpetuate the good standing you have or the reputation you have. And now you got some students doing that. Like, you think that would be in the long run good for you?
well,
If you're
and
trying to, assuming you're trying to maintain positivity or status quo, and most importantly, if you want to grow on that, you know,
let's let's go back to the basics for us, for me. My motto, which is not my motto, but one of my mottos in the school or for the organization and my school is lead by example, follow by choice. So, yes, we have some tongue in cheek social media stuff out there. And anyone who takes it seriously, bad on you. Okay? It's just tongue in cheek. What you don't hear me saying is that all Democrats suck, all Republicans should be shot, all libertarians should be sent off to another island or something. You don't hear me saying that because this is not my place to take advantage of my position of power and influence my people. My people need to make their own damn decisions,
yeah.
not
Well,
my
again,
decision.
social media can be weaponized, whether it's intentional or not. It can't. You know
Well,
what I mean?
media as a whole can be weaponized, and we've seen
Absolutely.
that. We're seeing it right now.
100%.
So all media can be weaponized, and it's being weapon. It's been weaponized so much more in the last like probably 10 years than it ever has.
Yeah.
Um, so I think if you are a leader, even the
100.
head of a group, a training group, a school, organization, whatever it is,
100, John. Yeah. Like
you
right there.
have a responsibility to not influence those. See, here's the problem: is we'll attract a lot of people, and some of those people may be weak-willed, and they will adopt our persona whether they want to or not.
Particularly if they're disenfranchised, they want to belong to something. I
They
mean,
want to
I've seen
belong to
that happen
something.
in
They want to
organizations.
hang out with the
Mhm.
cool kids.
Oh
And then
no, I've seen that
they get a
several
cult
times
mindset.
happen that within organizations.
We are a club, not a cult.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, but it's I don't know. I just think you're better if you have a pretty significant following. You have a decent kind of student base. I just think if you leave that stuff off, I think you're going to create problems for yourself if you just go there, and if not you or your students do it. I don't think that's going to be the way to grow or like that, unless you don't care about that. If you
Yeah.
don't care about that,
Personally, I
then
think now, if
you
you didn't have, okay, listen, I don't think you should have needed to have these protocols, but obviously,
now though,
okay,
yeah,
it's simple as that. You don't have a protocol for something that you don't have a need for. Well, times have changed. It's time to do new protocols. You know,
yeah.
um,
I had to do an FMA discussion when it went over 3,000 members. I was putting out fires left and right, and
yeah.
I'm like, this is for the birds.
Well,
The
I
moment I do
ran.
the rules, I follow them and put them in place. Totally different game.
I was the co-founder of Marshall Talk, the head of FMA Talk. Um, and when I started, okay, listen, everyone loved the food fights because it generated more traffic. That's the way it is.
Yeah, drama sells.
And social media. Okay, this is how it works. Okay, you get people looking to do that. Gotcha. Okay, but let's get realistic here. If you want to run a good ship,
Mhm.
when I didn't want to deal with this stuff, what did I do? I just sat there and said, "All right, this is the way it's going to go." I started kicking people out that I didn't want on board, and we had a better environment. Simple as
Yeah,
that. Because
yeah.
so if I do something that gets me kicked off um, of
FMA
Facebook,
discussion.
Facebook, no Facebook,
Just kidding.
or it could be FMA discussion, or it could be anything. But let's say Facebook as a whole, they set up policies.
Yeah,
If I break their procedures, I don't own it. I don't pay to be a member of it. I can get kicked off. Just like I can get kicked off any social media platform
sure.
if I don't follow the rules.
Right.
All right. Um, and if I belong to a bigger group, I can get kicked out of that bigger group. There was a conversation about my social media
Oh, Gene
in
Carlito.
hey Carlito, how you doing?
Crack
Um,
over there.
my social media style was brought up inside a WeCaf, wanting to know if this is the person we want to have as a director. And the answer was yes. But it was a conversation that had to be had. There's other people we talk about, like, hey, what do you think about X, Y, or Z? You know, recently there's a person that, well, at the end of the day, what we have to do is realize that what our what our I don't want to say antics, but how we carry ourselves publicly will go over negatively. Here we go. I know of 3 photos of me with alcohol in my hands on the internet.
I don't think there's. Huh, I never.
There's one photo of my birthday. Someone bought me a bottle of Jack. I've got a photo of a bottle, me holding a bottle of Jack. Another one is a picture of me in Germany in 1999. Jason Arnold was with me. We're having a drink in Germany. It was cool. And then the only other one was I had a glass of cider. So I say that's a beer. No, it's cider. It was alcoholic cider, and that was in Dawlish, England. You will not see photos other than that, to my knowledge.
Mm.
You will not see photos of me holding alcohol in my hands. I mean, I am so for the longest time. I was so OCD. I wouldn't kiss Janice goodbye in the club. When she'd go to leave home, I wouldn't even do it. Now, like, oh, hey, give her a kiss goodbye, So she goes home. But for the longest time, I wouldn't even do that. When I used to date, I didn't like holding hands in public because not that I didn't like holding hands, because that was between me and that person. I didn't want to share that private moment with
It's
everyone
just.
else.
It's just being private. Yeah, where people can't
Private.
attach.
So my
Say
opinion
something.
is private, and if I don't like somebody, okay, and like you said, go back to this. What's the world come to when we celebrate someone's death publicly? I
I
mean,
think
what kind of image is
it's
that?
horrific. It's just like, again, exercising their First Amendment. I mean, like, and
No
again, the
one,
empathy.
no one should be harmed in a
I
civil
I
society. Because
totally agree with you. And if you don't have empathy for any of that, but I
yeah,
mean, come on, the
because
man had children. The man had a
yeah.
family.
Well, here's and we go back to that person. Go, all right, you know. Oh, but he said this, that, and the other thing. All right, okay, yeah, maybe he did, maybe he didn't. Don't know. Don't know. All right,
Yeah,
but
I
you're
didn't.
saying
I gotta be honest. I saw some clips of him. I'll be honest. I've not watched anything in entirety, so I am not the
yeah,
best person to judge and what his
no.
message
I'd
was.
like to see like a 30-minute straight video,
Yeah, right. As
unedited,
opposed to a
connected.
short with no
Right, yeah.
prefix
But
and
the thing here is,
manufactured for an agenda. Right.
but if you're going around saying that you can celebrate this, what happens if someone's so offended by your celebration they decide to shoot you? But people don't think of they're
It's
not
just
thinking.
the thing is, it's like the more that this become, and I'm not saying this is going to become a norm, but the more that it becomes accepted, obviously there's potential for further frequency, or occasions, but I mean, like just something like this, it should not be like accepted. I mean, whether you like them or not, agree with them or not, but nobody should be killed for their First Amendment right. Like even Floyd, that whole situation. I had empathy because the man died and he had a family. I mean, I'm not saying he was a good guy or not. I didn't have enough information to make that judgment about George Floyd. I mean, I heard things, of course, like everybody else, but I still had empathy because that man, there were people, he had relatives, right?
There's someone in everyone's
Mhm.
circles of influence that will miss that person.
Yeah.
This person used to piss me off so much. I used to hate him. And da 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 da. Still wouldn't want to see anything negative. If someone kicked the guy's butt, I'm like, well, it serves him right. But if all of
Yeah,
a
I mean,
sudden,
right. If he got
yeah,
tuned
that's
up
one
over
thing.
something, okay, a tune up.
But if all of a sudden, I heard, you know, oh, this so and so got killed in a car accident. Oh, how's his family? Is his family okay? I mean, that's my mindset. I'm not going good. He's gone. I
No,
would never do that. I mean,
no,
well,
no, no.
and there's been plenty of people in my life. Like I said, my own stepfather, who's a piece of garbage. I would not wish. I've never wished that kind of harm
No,
on.
no, I'm not wishing anybody that.
So I mean, just
Um,
what does it say? Is and being that leader, we're in a unique position to influence people and possibly weak-willed people who will then do things and react ways that maybe they shouldn't have. So we have to make sure that we are setting a proper example as martial artists, as teachers. What do we are helping people become better people. Hey, talking about the dead like that is not, no. I
it's
mean,
a good
I don't even.
point. Renee's bringing. I mean, yeah. I mean, I keep.
What's what
It
they
was
say?
in front. It was in front of his family, right? I think there's a difference between some of these private moments and a man being. Yeah, yeah. No. I mean,
Yeah. Well, think
no,
about it.
yeah, right. I mean, I
It's
don't.
going to be on social media the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
They will pop up and see the shooting periodically because it'll never scrub it. Once it's out there,
Oh no, once it's out there, yeah.
it's gone.
Unfortunately,
You
yeah.
know,
And the thing is, I can't give an opinion on a guy. I've heard some shorts, and that's nowhere to base because shorts are manufactured for a particular narrative on both sides, left and right. So you can't
doesn't
rely
matter.
on them.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, you
It,
shouldn't.
it
Yeah,
doesn't matter because no one should be shot for what they
no,
say.
no. I'm saying that in conjunction with I can't really give an opinion on,
Him as a
was he
person.
correct? Did he say some things? Maybe he, whatever. But at the end of the day, yeah, right. Nobody should be shot for exercising their First Amendment, right?
And I know, like I have a student, like I said, who has a real problem with the things he would say and do. And he even said there, he goes, no, nope, it's just not right. It's just not right.
When you got pro athletes coming out and saying that's not right, you know what I mean? I mean that we're saying it's not.
Transgender women came out and said it's not right.
Yeah. So when you
Now,
got like people, quote unquote, that were, so yeah, I mean, right. So, um, but again, back to the social media thing. Um, like I know a couple of people that have taken a break floating and left. I have one person that removed himself from a group message group I have, and just because he was just saying some of the on their private wall, some of the people that I just can't get down with, and that was his choice. I mean that nothing against me. There's no, but I mean that was his choice. I respect his choice. But what I'm saying is, this is running deep, and this is like it's coming very polarizing where people are feeling they have to take sides and it's difficult to navigate sometimes when you got people in a group with different affiliations. And I think that's even more from the point of view where if you're running that group or running that organization or group, faction, whatever style system, where you have to be that exercise that neutrality and not um, put your stuff out there, because I think it can really come back to haunt you in several
Yeah,
ways.
yeah, oh, yeah.
Financially, I mean, just how you're viewed, your the perception.
Yeah, like I said, there's a lot of people who I'm going to be looking at differently now.
Okay, here we the call to action to kill conservatives is insane. Who will be the judge and jury? If I say something people don't like, will that put my head on block? Yeah, it's getting yeah. I don't know. It's sad. Like when I just see people like again back to these two people like just like one of the I don't have the exact verbiage from memorization, but basically something to the extent I have zero empathy for like what happened to him, and I'm like, wow.
Fine, why post it?
I That's what I mean. I'm like,
Why
wow.
post it?
I'm like just like like first of all, you're like who cares about it? But again, the leader though, if I'm looking at that and I know people know that person's under me or affiliated with me, I'm sorry. I'm putting my hands in there, like, because I care the perception of the group I run, and I just, I have a general concern for that, the perception of, and I think modeling needs to be done by some of these head people, and or like we touched upon having a conversation, again, I just put rules in place in the groups. I think it just makes it easy. Hey, you're new to the group, please check out the feature posts. And one of those feature posts being rules. So, it's just easy as opposed to individually talking to everybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it.
But I tell you, I don't see this getting better anytime soon. And I think the one area we can make a difference is sometimes obviously not globally, but within social media in within our own, you know, community. You know what I mean? Um, I don't know.
Yeah, it's rough, and I mean, I'm sad as human beings.
It's sad to see that. I totally agree with you on the sadness. Like when I was reading this, I'm like, wow, like you would reach that low to no empathy of somebody getting shot in front of their family. Like, you know what I mean? Like, man, like what
Okay,
happened? And I'm going to say something too. These people I'm referencing, they have no issues. I mean, like just they live in New York. Far as I know, I shouldn't say that. Far as I know, and it's like your life ain't too bad. What we got here? He lives knowing this could happen. He never changes tune. There are people out there that are willing to change their thoughts and convictions not to catch a beating and losing their lives. Yeah, I did hear that. He kind of stuck to his mission,
I mean, I was told that he's been chased out of restaurants and stuff like that, and
Really? Oh, okay, okay.
I don't know how factual that is.
I don't either. I didn't hear that, but yeah. Today though, nothing surprises me. Um, so that wouldn't surprise me that he got chased out of a restaurant.
Well,
So
listen, any of us who say things that people don't like and we don't back down from it,
there's a price,
you know.
and so just the degree of that price, right? I mean, sadly, right?
I mean,
Yeah.
like I made all my social media comments. I've had countless threats of people who are going to dojo storm me. Still not holding my breath on that one.
The one post you made about Charles, I thought that was a really, matter of fact, I was telling a few people, I thought that was well done. I thought that was well
Well, thank you,
articulated.
thank you. It's once again, I'm disappointed as human at people being human beings.
Yeah.
I once again I don't care how they feel. That's their listen. We all have our own feelings. Your feelings are genuine. They may or may not be justified, but I'm not going to tell you the way you feel. That being said, though,
Yeah.
if you hate someone, loathe someone, you know, whatever. But are you saying that we should now go over and go after these people? And personally, the thing here is just think about the stuff you're saying, because if you are being outspoken about this, what if someone comes after you for those same words?
So I
Oh,
mean,
freedom
like
of
today,
speech.
it's
Well,
an
that's
unhinged.
all that he was doing. Freedom of
I
speech.
know it's unhinged. It's become unhinged, and like things that I thought would never occur or like that are actually occurring. And
And like I said, it. I was not. I'm not vested in Charlie Kirk. And like I said, certain topics of his posts come up in shorts. They talked,
shorts.
and the big thing was the stuff that I heard was talking about protecting women against transgender athletes, which makes sense because there have been MMA fighters who have
Mhm.
fractured women's skulls. I have friends who are transgender, uh, so it's not like I'm some closet. I mean, the thing here is when I wrote the article, first thing I said, I'm an independent.
Thank you very much.
I have straight, gay, bi, and trans friends.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm talking from common courtesy. I'm a Gen Xer. I can't believe anyone in my generation wasn't brought up properly to see how this is so wrong to celebrate in a man's that he's not a mass murderer. He's not. He didn't rape someone's wife. I mean,
And the
if
comparison to Hitler, no, that is
yeah,
so
yeah.
like, how could you compare anybody like that? Like, I've heard a couple references that to like Hitler. It's like, are you that freaking
So
deluded,
how many Jews
demented?
did or how many trans did he order to be euthanized? I mean, that's not the
Man, that,
you know. I understand that if you're part of certain demographics, some of what he said may have made it bad for that group. Okay, got it. I understand that.
yeah.
But the people I've talked to, they still said zero loss of life is the number we're looking for. No, there is no acceptable number. You know,
Yeah, it's just I don't know, man. It's yeah, I don't know, but hopefully, I think I'm just going to continue what I do, and again, it comes down again, the topic being organizational leaders. Like I'm just going to continue to do what I do because I've seen the evidence of it working. I'm not dealing with drama, putting out fires with these smaller groups. I'm not talking about FMA discussion. I'm here because of the protocol that's set, mo- modeling, doing what I preach, and that works for me. You know what I mean? But I'm not saying everybody should do what I do. Hence,
no,
we're having this conversation. You know what I
yes.
mean? But I think there should
Listen,
be something done. I think it's a conversation that you should have, pending the size of your entity and how much you or your folks are on social media, right?
this is a tough conversation for people. At the
Yeah,
end of the day, this is not an easy conversation, and I don't blame anyone. That's what?
they were murdered. Yeah,
No, no.
murdered.
What is that last post?
Renee, they were murdered, not
No, no, no. The
euthanized.
one before that when they said Tim Hartman Gen X something.
Oh, Boston.
Gen X rules. Yeah, I'm Gen X Prime, baby. Oh, actually, Dean and I are both Gen X Prime. First year, baby. But I mean, I was brought up if you got nothing nice to say, don't say it at all, unless it's BJJ or Sambo. No, no, no. It's just it, I don't know. I was brought up on the top. I
I
don't
think we
remember.
just it's modeling. I just think those who have core values and want to lead by example and don't tolerate that kind of stuff. I think we just need to keep doing what we do
Mhm.
so we don't fall prone. Our students don't do that stuff and make them like in turn get repercussions on them and then making the leaders look bad. You know what I mean? Like there's just certain people that are just going to do what they're going to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It
there's nothing we
doesn't.
can
We
do
can have
about it.
this conversation like daily, but they're just so venomous. They're just going to do what they're going to do, right? You know. So what you got coming up?
Well,
I gotta
I'm
get.
doing my instructor's camp while you're doing yours.
Oh, so you got your camp. I got my camp. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And
Hence why.
are
Oh,
you
that's why. Yeah,
are you
Craig
swinging
won't.
by?
Well, at least that's. I mean, yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Where's
Seeing
Renee picking you up?
he is picking me up in Buffalo. Two
At the
o'clock.
airport?
2 o'clock. 1:50. I officially get in. So you figure time I get off the plane, and I
Okay.
mean like 2:10 or something.
Okay.
So and then yeah, I get to see him and some other folks, and it's actually pretty simple and civilized. It really is. I know it really is, John. In a civilized society, you members shouldn't be killing each other over First Amendment. Yeah, it is pretty simple. You would think, anyway, right? Um, so,
Listen,
um,
this just shows how much damage COVID did to people,
I think
and
it's
they're in
more in
denial about it.
COVID. I think it's more in COVID. I think it's an unraveling of society, morals, and ethics. I think it goes beyond COVID. I'm not saying COVID has nothing to do with it. I'm not saying that. I think it goes beyond that. I think it's just an overall unraveling, unfortunately. You know, um, you know, like, and I don't know have the answer like far as change just goes. But yeah. So we got yeah. So you got your camp, and then
So I do my camp this weekend. I go to Reno next weekend for a martial arts seminar and tournament, and then I come back and host the FMA championships, and then I go to Barbados a couple days after that, and then I go to Orlando, host a spectacular here, and then I go to the Philippines for Halloween for Bobby's camp.
wow, I could
And
not travel that much.
home 3 days and go to the Salem event we're all teaching at.
I cannot, man. I give you credit. There's no way I could just travel that much. No way. Like I just got back from California,
Yeah,
just kind of got caught up with the time changes. Like
yeah.
today, like, and then like Friday, like I'm going back. Like that's just, I'm just
I
not that
get you.
guy. I'm just not that guy, man. I'm
Yeah.
just not. Matter of
And
fact,
Ty's about to get here too in about 20 minutes.
what's that?
Ty's almost here.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It's just
I'm mapping him on the
oh yeah, oh yeah.
on Waze.
Got to
It's
go, Dean. Remember to
okay.
plug in your OnlyFans. I am Dean Frankel, and I want to.
Oh, I'll be right back. Right back. Hold on.
Oh my gosh.
You do the OnlyFans thing. I'll be back.
COVID was a fail to yes, and it turned out. And Jeff was like, yeah, I definitely agree with that, Tim. I do. I absolutely do, and I think that kind of. I'm not saying that I think that's contributed to it, absolutely, but I think it's also just an overall breakdown. I just you know um, of everything. Um, my brother will be there at Bobby's camp.
So, are you going to be at Combat Arts?
No, sorry.
Where are you going to be teaching?
Okay, yeah. I'm not familiar. I mean, I just know that's the name of it.
I mean, oh yeah, Joey. He's got a great place. I haven't been to his new place, but he's
yeah, I don't know anything about. I gotta be honest with you. I'd be like, I only know him from online. Um, and so yeah, yeah. But yeah, I give you credit, man. There's just no, I can't. Like, I'm telling you, I don't enjoy the traveling, man. I really don't. Um, yeah.
yeah, sure. Okay, I like.
California is okay because like so I mean, but Massachusetts is fine because that's not that far, of course.
Yeah.
That's the 16th, 17th, right?
You ask me questions.
Yeah, I agree, John. Breakdown for sure. Yeah, sadly.
Yeah, 15th, 16th.
15th, 16th. Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, all right. Well, then say hi to Ty, and then I'll
Yeah.
say we'll be in touch.
Yeah. Well, definitely. We'll do a show. Maybe Monday you can hop in on our show with us.
This coming Monday?
Yeah, because we can review both camps.
Oh, that would be this Monday. Monday. What do I got?
Providing you don't get stuck in Buffalo again.
I don't want to hear that. I don't even want to hear that. Oh my god! I'll start freaking scratching everything. Monday, yeah, the Monday should be in eight. That's 8, right?
8:30.
8:30.
Yeah.
Yeah, that should work. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, well, I'll definitely let you know, but I don't see.
Maybe I'll see you before the weekend's over.
Yeah, I don't see an issue. Should be fine. I don't see an issue with um 8:30. That should be fine. Yeah.
Cool.
Awesome. Well, hey, I hope your camp goes well, and
I hope yours does as well.
Monday.
All right. Cool.
All right. Be good. Be in touch. Say hi to Ty.
I will.
All right. Bye. All right. That wraps up 580. Who is next? As far as information discussion, I'm getting some younger folks on. As a matter of fact, I have to give them a date, which could be actually maybe I'll do 7 to 8:30, and then I can jump on 10s. So that could be this Monday, as always. Everything we post in FMA discussion featured. Sean Sutton, 926, talking about JKD, all Burton's programs and that. I think that's gonna be kind of fun. He's another rep that's under Burton, and yeah. So just, as always, check the featured post and FMA discussion, and you'll know everything you need to know. All right, folks. See you whenever I see you.